I'm with okay. What a way to start a video. I'm with my mentor and friend, Thom Singer. I'm here with my mentor and friend, Thom Singer, a professional speaker of 12 years. And today we're going to talk about 3 key questions to ask yourself, or 3 areas to reflect so that you can make 2022 your best year yet. Thom, thanks so much for being here. Excited to dive in. And guys, honestly, you're going to want to stay around for all 3 points in the whole conversation. It's not often that we get to hear from a professional speaker like Thom. How you doing, by the way? How's your 2022? And
everything's good. I'm getting off to a good start, and I think 2022 is going to be a great year. And after the last couple of years in the meetings industry, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's only getting better from here, right? Life is like a fine wine, and so is Thom. No. Shoot. Bah! Is that a technique? Is BHAG a technique or just something you do?
No, I'm just okay.
Yeah. Okay. If you guys like the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for weekly tips to sell more and live more. Without further ado, let's dive into the top areas to invest in 2022.
Well, there's 3 areas you got to focus on this year. Number 1, you've got to look at your goals. Now, a lot of people roll their eyes at goals, but if you don't know what you're trying to accomplish, if you don't know what you're striving for, you're never going to be able to get there. You can't leave your life up to chance. And the second area is you've really got to think clearly about your network. I think 2022 is the year of people. If we learned anything over the last 2 years, we learned that we can deliver content through videos like this and through online platforms. However, that human-to-human connection, that networking piece, that can't be replicated very often in an online setting. So you have to invest in people. And then the third thing that I think you have to do for 2022 is you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to go out and you really have to try new things. Do things that will stretch you in areas of things that scare you, things you've never done before. And if you work on those 3 areas, I think you're going to find more success.
Well, there you have it. Right off the bat, some value bombs being dropped by my man Thom. And so let's dig into the third one. My mind just jumps there, of doing new things. I really believe that's how we unlock new parts of ourselves and really expand who we are. You became a professional speaker after starting out in the corporate space. Could you talk about your background in the corporate space and then how you ended up making the leap and what it was like transitioning to becoming basically your own entrepreneur?
So I spent my career working in sales and marketing. And when you have a sales and marketing job, you often go to conferences and you're sitting in those conference room chairs and you're watching the keynote speakers. And sometimes they're celebrities and sometimes they're just regular business people who have something to say. And I can remember in that latter category, watching people and thinking, wow, she or he, they have a better job than I do. And so long ago, I decided that would be a really great career to go after. But the problem is you can't just stand up and be like, oh, I'm quitting my job and becoming a professional speaker, or whatever it is that your passion is that you want to go for. And so one of the things I had to do for many years before I made that transition is I had to learn the craft, I had to get around people who were doing it, and I had to try different things as a speaker to see where my topic and my personality would fit for corporate audiences.
If someone out there is in a sales job like I am, and they want to create their own business or dive into a new industry, you're saying it's more of a very thoughtful, gradual, intentional process to get there. You don't just leap right away.
You know, I think for most people, it takes time to do these things. But the problem is in our society, we look at the outliers. We look at the person who was discovered and sort of plucked out and brought into that new, exciting thing. And we think, wow, I want to be like them. And a lot of these people, and we see it all over social media, a lot of these people who got famous quick, then they turn around and they become coaches on how to get famous quick. And the problem is you can't repeat it because you didn't have the same set of circumstances that allowed them for that to happen. So yes, I think for most people who want to make a transition to doing anything, whether it's working for yourself or whatever, I think that you absolutely have to invest the time to get the skills to where they need to be. I think that it's really true that a lot of people get out ahead of themselves in these things and they think, oh, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and then 6 months later they're not famous and they can't figure out why. Well, it doesn't happen in 6 months. And so yeah, too often people are expecting very fast results. Things take time for things to catch on. So I think that you have to work your way into a lot of things. Now, if you get lucky, awesome. pivot and follow that luck as it comes along. But don't think that, oh, I'm just gonna wave a magic wand and fairy dust is gonna get blown up my ass.
That's a great expression, I love that. And so to finish up on the point of doing new things, could you talk about some of the ways you've been getting out of your comfort zone? Did you get into stand-up comedy? What's that been like?
Well, when I turned 50, I made a decision that I was gonna make age 50 to 75 the best years of my life. Now, my life was good before that. The first 50 years were great, but I decided that for that next season, because people always come back and they say, well, what about age 75 to 100? Great, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. For that season of age 50 to 75, I made a decision that I was going to intentionally do things that were out of my comfort zone. I was gonna do things that scared me. I was gonna do things I knew I should do that I had put off for a long time. So there's a lot of things that I started doing 5 years ago. Number one, I had never run a mile in my entire life. And 5 years ago, I started training for a half marathon. And now this week, I'll do my third half marathon. And along the way, I lost 30 pounds. I'm in much better physical shape. Another thing is I'm scared of heights. So one of the first things I did is I was in Las Vegas and I signed up to do the sky jump, which is a 108-story outside leap off the Stratosphere Hotel. And yes, I almost crapped my pants. However, it pushed me out of my comfort zone, literally off of a building.
Yeah.
And I now have gone ziplining and I've done other things that involve heights, because when you try new things and survive, you often are less worried about doing it the next time. And then a few years ago, a friend of mine who was a professional comic invited me to open mic night. And I thought, oh my gosh, I would love to watch you work on new material. And he said, that's not what I'm inviting you to do. And what he was inviting me to do was to, in New York City, go to a comedy club and get on stage and do a 5-minute comedy set. And I was freaked out by that. And yet I did it. And when I was done, I told my wife, I'm gonna do 100 open mic nights. And I've never really stopped. I've now done 135 open mic nights. I've been a featured comic in 8 shows.
Wow.
And it's not that I'm gonna go become a touring comic. I'm not that funny. However,
yeah, I'm laughing here.
However, what I've done is I've realized how to become more playful and more confident when I'm on stage as a speaker, when I'm doing virtual things, when I'm making videos. I've just learned to be just more free-spirited from doing the comedy. So trying new things will open up a whole new set of paths for you.
Yeah, and make sure to check out one of Tom's latest videos that highlights his journey into stand-up comedy. It's a really entertaining video and he's got some key insights and points for you, so check that out. And you know what, I'm gonna do some stand-up with Tom at some point, and maybe he'll film me and we'll post a video on the channel. It'll be fun. And definitely encourage you guys to, why not try it, right? Don't you think stand-up can apply to business and careers and relationships and playfulness? Like, what do you think are the top couple benefits of doing stand-up specifically?
So stand-up comedy is the hardest use of the spoken word that exists. I've given over 1,000 paid professional speeches, and they're not nearly as hard as doing a 3-minute open mic set at a bar down the street. So comedy, or anything, there's a lot of things you can do. Anything that pushes you far beyond your comfort zone, what it does is it just opens up opportunities. It gives you confidence. It shows you there's more ways to do things. So yeah, I think that trying something like that, especially something that, you know, makes you kind of tense up your butt and be like, oh, I could never do that. That means you should go try it.
Okay. So when the sphincter tightens, is that the right term? Okay, I didn't expect to go there. But I do feel like when I have tried new things and I face fear, on the other side, I experience myself almost differently and newly, like, wow, I am someone who can lean into this fear. I'm someone who can do stand-up. So I look forward to that. And I want to go back, we've gone out of order a little bit, but to point one on goal setting. Can you flesh out how to effectively write out goals? How often should you check the goals? What categories should you look at?
So a lot of people, you know, roll their eyes at goals and they think, oh, it doesn't work. And they think of like New Year's resolutions, where the average New Year's resolution, apparently people stop working on it by like January 19th. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about really thinking through what you're trying to accomplish in your life in the next 3 months, in the next year, in the next 5 years, and the next 10 years. And then reverse engineering the steps you need to take to get there. Now, having goals is great, but if they're not written down, you're gonna forget them.
Yeah.
And if they're not in front of you, you're not gonna pay attention to them. So one of the things you need to do is you need to write out your goals, shrink them down onto a small piece of paper, laminate them, carry them in your wallet. I have a friend who has a full-size 8.5 by 11 thing with all of his goals for the year in his shower so that every day when he's washing his hair, he can see all of his goals right there in front of him. I think you need to be constantly reviewing them, and it's okay to change them along the way. Some people tell me, oh, I don't like setting goals because I get disappointed when I don't reach them. Well, if you're not excited by them after 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 2 months, scratch it off. It's not something that you're really passionate about doing.
Wow, that's interesting. I've never heard, sorry to interject, but of giving yourself the permission to eliminate a goal. Well, I've never thought about that.
Here's the thing, it's your life. You have the permission to do whatever you want. Yeah. So you're creating this YouTube channel. If it's not serving you 6 months from now, you have the right to shut it down. It's not a disappointment, it's not a failure. It's I got out there and tried, and it led me closer to things. Here's the thing. If you have a goal that's really big, sort of those big, hairy, audacious goal, that BHAG, if you have that you're going for and you don't reach it, but you get farther along the path than you would have without the goal, you still win. So there's an old expression like shoot for the stars, and if you hit the moon, you still win because you're on the moon. You may not have gotten all the way out into space, but you've made progress. So set the goals, work for the goals, and then reassess them, because it is totally all right to say something in my life has changed, or I was chasing that goal for the wrong reason. It's really common that people set a goal for entirely the wrong reasons. They think it'll make them look cool or whatever, and when they get into it, they don't have a passion for it.
What are the best areas to set goals in, like across your life? Are there like different categories?
So I have 3 areas.
Yeah.
I think you need to have your business goals, your personal goals, and your soul goals.
Oh,
so your business goals are clear. Your business goal is, what am I trying to accomplish in my career? What do I want to do? How much money do I want to make? What titles do I want to have? What do I want to do for a living? Do I want to change careers? So that's pretty straightforward. Your personal goals would be around your family and yourself and the things you want to accomplish. Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to take a vacation? What are those things? And then your soul goal is what really feeds you on the inside. What is it that gets you excited? You have to have something for yourself. I talk to people all the time, and they have their work goals and their family goals, but they never carve out that little piece of something that they want to do that really makes them happy on the inside. It can be around spirituality, it can be around a hobby, whatever they want it to be, but it's something that really feeds you on the inside. That's a soul goal.
It could be around playfulness. I don't think we schedule enough time for play. It's so easy to get caught up in the work grind, and our goals are all around, achieve, make money, do this. But what about, playfulness and goofiness, or things that just truly make you happy and feed your soul, like you said?
And I think that's going to be different for everybody, because people have different levels of comfort with playfulness and different levels of goofiness inside of them. But you have to do self-respection as to who you are and why you're following these things. And one of the problems is in our society right now, everybody looks at like Gary Vee or some of these other internet celebrities and they think, I want to be just like them. The problem is all you're seeing when you do that is what they're putting on screen. You're not seeing their whole life. Some of these people, they put up a great video, but maybe they're an asshole. Well, do you really want to be like them if that's who they are? So I think that you need to get really clear as to, what it is you're pursuing and why you're pursuing it and what is the whole picture.
So to wrap up, point number 2, what was that one again? It was around people?
Point number 2 is around people.
Can we expand on it?
Sure. All opportunities in life, everything you want to accomplish comes from people. Yeah. So making sure that you're surrounding yourself with the right people who are going to help you is awesome. But I think in this world, you have to have a good bullshit meter, because there's a lot of people out there who are out for themselves while they're masquerading at being so helpful and so kind. And in reality, you need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who have a win-win attitude, who want to see you accomplish things. I mean, the definition of networking is the creation of long-term and mutually beneficial relationships between 2 or more people, where everyone involved in those relationships finds more success because of it. Now, there's all kinds of people who are like, I hate networking. Well, I always ask the question, do you hate long-term or mutually beneficial relationships? And they're like, no, I hate the schmoozing, I hate the business card exchange. That's not networking. In fact, networking doesn't even take place at a networking event. Networking takes place as you build a relationship. And it takes 7 to 10 interactions with a person, not before you're friends, but before they even notice you exist. So it can take 20 and 30 and 40 interactions with somebody before you're really going to be part of their network. And so as people think, they follow me. You know what? A like, a link, a share, or a follow on social media is not a human relationship. And people confuse it, and they follow some of these people and they think that they're getting something good, and it's not a real relationship. So I think 2022 is the year we have to get back to human connection. We have to spend time with the people who are important to us in our lives, and we have to cultivate relationships with real friendships, not just how many followers you have.
Wow. So we're going to end on that. What a high note. Tom, this has been power-packed and insightful. And again, to have the privilege to hear from someone who has succeeded in the corporate world and been a public speaker, professional speaker for 12 years, that is amazing. So Tom, thank you for the time. I want to make sure that people can find you on YouTube or any other channels, or even if they wanted to have you speak at a corporate event, they could get a hold of you. So where can people find you?
The easiest place to find me is my website. It's thomsinger.com. That's THOMSINGER.com. And then I'm on all the social medias, be it the Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, etc. And it's all just my name, Thom Singer.
Awesome. You got to check Tom out. He's constantly putting out great content, and he's even shaping mine. So thanks for your contribution to me as a mentor and friend. Guys, I hope you got value out of the video. In fact, I know you did. If you did though, if you found it entertaining and enjoyable, make sure to hit the like button. The algorithm likes that. And of course, subscribe for weekly tips to sell more and live more. Every week, I'm coming at you with sales, mental health, and personal growth hacks that you can chew on like snacks. All the best, and we'll talk soon. So Bella's been down here the whole time, and she actually chewed through my jacket. Man, so if I was a little distracted, that's what happened. Belly. Okay.
What's gonna be your thing? Are you gonna chew more of his clothes? Are you gonna chew everything? You're gonna ruin this whole apartment in 2022, aren't you? You're gonna make Chris have to buy all new everything. Yes, I am.